What is up, boys and girls, and welcome back to another video today. And I'm really excited because I'm done with my schoolwork. Yes. Yay. Okay, so anyways, let's just dive in and wrap this up. So we have a cool render. We're working on clouds today, so it's gonna be fun. Um, yeah. Just wait until Blender's up here. And I also saw that there is a new Blender Octane version. I would recommend updating. Update. Also have the latest version. And yeah, update. Okay, so as usual, we're just gonna get rid of the default cube and the default light. Rip those two, and then we're gonna pop in a plane and press S and 5 to scale it up 5 times. And from here on, we can actually instantly start texturing. So what we do from here is actually open up a new window, shade editor, press N to get rid of that, change to Octane, also get that, and then, oh, there's a default material, we'll take that, just delete the principal BSDF and get a diffuse texture, and put the material output to Octane. Diffuse material goes into the surface as always, and then we're going to pop up our render here, and we're going to bring in some textures here, and it's going to be sand, and then you want to drag in these textures right here, and this desert height map. It's from a nice tutorial. I'll leave a link to his channel in the description. He made a tutorial on how to use these and make like a nice looking desert. It looks really cool. I would recommend checking his channel out, giving him some love. Yeah. Check him out. Nice guy. This tutorial isn't cycles though, so if you know cycles or if you want to learn cycles, check his channel out. It's fire. Okay, so this desert height map, we're gonna go and get a displacement modifier and plug that into the texture. As always, put it to 8K. This is only a 2K map, but it will actually give extra it'll give extra detail. So displacement, wait until the shaders are updated. There we go. And now the height, filter height, I will go to, wait, height? Yeah, not the, I said filter height, lol. Okay, just drag this up to about there, and also turn the, here, I'll give a mid-level of 0.5, and this is actually good already, so this is enough displacement. It's actually a lot, like 0.1 is actually fine. So let's get a plane and scale that plane up 5 times as well, and you'll see there's going to be a little bay here that we can use to put our cloud in. So we just want to position our camera here so it's nice and close above the water, like this. So we're facing this way. We see our sand here, and I'll actually get a full transform here, plug that into our transform slots, and scale down the sand. You want to only plug this into the center roughness and sand, because if you put it into the height map, it will also make the height map smaller, but we don't want that, so just do it like that and scale it down until you're satisfied with the scale of the sand. And I actually like something like this. That looks cool. That makes the hills look smooth, so if you want to keep some detail, you just scale it up a bit again. I like this. So actually put it to something uniform. There we go. So here we have our bay done, and we can now click on our plane here and click on new, get a glossy material, delete that, and get a specula. We want to plug that into our surface and roughness down to 0, and then we want to get a bump, not a bump, I always type bump because you have to plug it into the bump. So get a noise texture and plug it into our bump, and you'll get some nice waves. It's looking fine, but what we want to do is we want to thicken the water a bit. So click on our water here. There we go. Click on the modifier properties, go to add modifier, and go and solidify. So right here you'll see we'll thicken the water, and we just want to thicken it so it goes off the plane. So that looks good. We can now bring in our cloud. not our clouds, our sky basically, because this is not looking good right now. This is not giving us the look that we want. So what we can do is we can come over to our world properties and click on the sun direction here, drop it down, and you will see local time. You want to move this local time slider around. There you go, look, the sun is setting. Or over here on the other side. This actually gives you some really nice shadows sometimes, but we don't want the sun rising. Oh, we don't want the sun setting, so play it a little bit maybe. Now it's close to default. Just leave it at default. Just don't mess with that. So the mesh here, I'm gonna go. What is going on? I'll press Shift A and get another mesh here, a plane, and I'll rotate this plane exactly like the camera, so it's facing the camera perfectly. So I'll go to camera, delete the Y rotation it comes with, because I don't know, it always comes with Y rotation. You can delete that. This rotation here, we want to copy this, click on our plane, paste that onto our plane, wrong plane, there we go, paste it onto our plane, and then come over here to this one and paste that on this plane. There we go. And then we want to scale it up pretty big, because this is basically going to be our backdrop, because making this boring sky look good with the HDRI, yeah, there's using HDRIs and Octane, it's not the best, but you can do it if you want. It needs a lot of tweaking, but I'll just go with this. So we can keep this lighting set up, and we have a different background. So we click on our plane here. When our plane's positioned, I pushed it back a little bit. We click on it, make a new material, and make that a diffuse material. Plug that into the surface, and then come back to our textures and get the sky texture that is also inside of the downloaded folder. In this RAR, this zip part 13 zip file you're gonna get, and we want to plug this sky into our diffuse, and let's see how the sky is actually. Okay, so light is the bottom and black is the top, the darker one. Yeah, that makes sense because space is up. Okay, so like this, and we want to scale it because you see it's just a square now, and this is actually a different resolution image, so it's stretched. I'll stretch this a bit, so I want to stretch it on the x-axis here. So I press S, X, and then scale it. Like that looks good. And then we can scale it back down so it fits the screen perfectly. So I can get some of those clouds down here. And there we go. So now we have our backdrop. But this backdrop it's still not fitting the scene right because of the lighting. This is much lighter, much bluer, much more blue. Just tweaking this right here. There we go. So this is much more blue and lighter. So what you can do to fix that is we can click on it and get a color correction texture here in the sky texture. So what we do is just drag it between here, and we don't want it in invert, we want it in texture. And then we can just drag the saturation down a bit to fit our background because it's also kind of grayed out. It's not the bluest, so this won't fit our environment if it's that blue. So we don't want it that low, just like 0.8 or something. Looks good. 0.95 maybe. That is getting a little bit. Yeah, 0.9 is gonna do. So when you have this, you can also maybe tweak the opacity a bit, to just get some of that background bleeding through. So just tweaking this, setting this up to the scene. Not tweaking, but matching it with the scene. So this is looking good. We got some clouds, and we can now concentrate on our main cloud, which is actually pretty easy. So what we do is we press Shift A and get a volume here, and we then want to get an empty. It's going to pop up here in the outliner, and you want to click on that, go down to its data object properties, and then you're going to see a OpenVDB file. You want to open it, and then go to the download folder, and click on cloud.vdb. So click on accept. It's going to open. It's going to load. and then you're gonna see this, and it's gonna be looking ugly. So we want to scale this down first, and actually rotate it. So where's the fluffy side? Fluffy side is here. We just want to have the flat side be facing down. So let's rotate that. There you go. And then just make it face the camera a bit more, like that. Scale that down a little bit more. And let's see here. So move that up. Oh, you can see when it's rendering, you can see the outline of the cloud really good. So right here, maybe. Let's scale it down a little bit more. There we go. And when you have your cloud in here, we can click on New on the cloud, the new material, and then it's going to instantly provide us a volume medium. And that's pretty handy. So we just got to go to scattering here and make the scattering white and the absorption white. And the density right here, we want to put that down to 14. And our volume step length is going to be 0.1. And you're going to see there's going to be a beautiful cloud popping up. You can still tweak this density to get more light shining through, but I would leave it at that. Let's see, how does this look? This actually looks cool too. We can tweak this a bit more. That looks good. 5 looks good. 5, 6, 6.5. I'll use 6.5. So here we have our cloud, and what we now want to do is really important. We want to go to camera and go scroll down a bit until we see the Octane camera imager. We always want to check that, and you'll see it'll add so much more to the scene. It will add color, it will add everything. It will look just way better. So what we can do here is just put our gamma up twice and our exposure up twice. Just get more brightness in that image. And also maybe desaturate our sand a bit because it's really orange. So go to the sand here and get another color correction. Plug that in. Texture. And then saturation. Take a little bit of that out. Get some more natural looking sand. And also push this hue over a little bit to the yellow side here. You don't want the sand yet, just a little bit. Let's reset. Yeah, there we go. 0.03 is gonna be looking good. Some of that saturation back in. And there we go. So what you could do is you could leave it here and render, because this looks awesome in my opinion. This looks cool. It's a cool render. So, but I just want to add a little bit more. I want to just check neutral response. And I would recommend always doing that. And also check the Octane post-processing here and add some bloom. Like 15 is enough, but I think that's a little bit too much. 10, maybe 9, 6.5. Let's also use 6.5 here. Yeah, looks good. So, and also, like always, we want to add some depth of field because that just always adds to it. So let's add a empty plane axes and just put that right where our cloud is. That's actually good. Just put it right where the cloud starts. Down here a little bit more. There we go. Can scale this down a bit. This is just for preference. You don't really have to scale it down. So we want to come back to our camera here and scroll a little bit down until you see out of focus. You want to turn that off. Click on this bar and select the empty. And then we can just play with the aperture to get some focusing onto that cloud. So maybe a bit more. So you'll see the foreground here, it will blur, and it'll focus on that cloud. So you just want to play around with these settings as well. And that's looking good. And you could leave it here, or you could go one step more. So, but this is actually going to increase render time by a ton, so much. So this right here is going to render pretty fast because it's the kernel type right here. What we're using is direct lighting, so it's not really calculating much. So this is looking cool, but if you change it to path trace, it's going to update here. If you want to stop the render, there you go, stop the render. And I'll actually save here because it really likes to crash. So let's save this here. Tutorial part 13. So let's save. And let's change it to path trace. Go back to rendered mode. So we'll transfer. And the volumes will also look a lot better in path trace because light can actually pass through those. So as you can see right here, this looks a lot better. A ton better. So we can do the volume here. We can actually turn this density up to 14. And then we can get some more defined details. Which this is looking awesome at the moment. It looks so good. Okay guys, hey, so like at the end of my videos, my videos just like to corrupt, like the audio just cuts out. And I was talking about some render settings which are really important, so here I am from the cut again. I'm explaining right now. So, right here in these render settings, the nodes and stuff, it's all done. So I just explained how to change, that you should change to path tracing because the clouds look better. So, right here, what you do is you can put your max samples to like 1024 or 1500 and leave the rest just as it is. And down here at the GL clamp, you want to just type in 10, and that's going to fix all the fireflies that are going to pop up. So just put the GL clamp to 10. I'm not sure what it is at default. I forgot. It's like at 100 or something. Just put it down to 10, and you'll be fine. So that's it. This is actually also the end of the video, so I hope you guys had fun and you recreate this tutorial. The assets, as always, will be in the description. And always, subscribe, like, follow me on Instagram. And if you actually consider supporting me, there is my Patreon in the description for $250 a month. You can get all my project files, including this one. So, yeah, what are you waiting for? Okay, so guys, thank you for all the support lately. I'm on my way to 1,000, and that is literally a dream. So, thank you all. Thank you all so much. I love doing this for you guys. So, I'm out. Stay creative.